We are just on the other side of the Spider-Man pre-release, and while this set has had a what I would call vicious hype cycle with people buying into boxes and cards at crazy prices, it seems that we may have come back down to earth a bit. And I want to talk about what pre-release may or may not have done to the Spider-Man set. So join me today as we have a general market discussion about the Spider-Man set. We're going to talk some sealed product, going to talk some singles, and all things in between. And if you like content like this and you're new to the channel, or maybe you've seen a couple videos and you haven't hit the button yet, click subscribe down below because it helps a small channel like mine more than you can possibly imagine. All right, let's dig into some web-slinging Magic the Gathering. Now, being a set in the end of 2025 was never going to be an easy task. Heck, Final Fantasy definitely filled the Magic the Gathering hype sails with wind, and it has been a wild ride ever since. Even Edge of Eternities, the next in-universe Magic the Gathering release, had quite a bit of hype following the behemoth that was FF. The collector boxes shot to the moon, prices went crazy, and so Spider-Man was always going to have an element of that to it. But as we got more information about spoilers, as we found out more about the set, what the contents were, and maybe some behind the scenes info courtesy of, I believe it was Mark Rosewater, letting us know that this was never meant to be a full-fledged Magic set at the start and kind of pivoted into one later, the hype for Spider-Man cooled a bit. I won't say it died. Boxes are still wildly expensive. We'll get to prices here in just a minute, but the hype did sense cool. But the hype for singles remained insane. The comic book flip cover cards were going crazy. The Spider-Man suit variants were off the chart, and while yes, some of those are still expensive, we are seeing some regression to the mean, especially with some normal versions of cards, mainly something like the Soul Stone. While still wildly expensive, it's, as people are opening their boxes, doing what singles do, and finally coming down in price a little bit. So I want to start today with some sealed product, and anytime we talk about sealed product or start the conversation there, I like to start with the Play Booster box, as this is the backbone of any Magic the Gathering release. I've said it once, I'll say it again, the Play Booster box must be accessible, it must be affordable, and I see you in the comment section. I see you all out there telling me the Play Booster box should be $100. Well, it's more expensive than that from stores, and I know you're going to tell me what the MSRP is for the box. MSRP, in my opinion, in a game like Magic the Gathering with a community this big and product so abundant, frankly, doesn't matter. People are going to sell the box for what they sell the box for. MSRP be darned. I don't care what Wizards says the box should cost. I care what it costs fans like you and I to get these cards in our hand, have some fun, and play Magic the Gathering. And while $170, in my opinion, is too expensive for a Play Booster box, I'd like that to probably be around the $120 range. I think $100 boxes are a little unrealistic because they can't be $100 forever. Everything else in the world goes up in price. I know that's hard to hear and it's hard to say. I wish it weren't true, but that's how the economy works. But $170 seems like maybe a bridge too far just for random comfort zones. But this box is proving to be more available than we thought, and that's leading to some of the price turn down. Also, the real big hits in the set coming with the fact that it might not be the most powerful set of all time, and it might not be the place where you're going to get all of your Commander staples, means that if you're not looking to play draft or limited and you can't pull the crazy hits out of this box, you're kind of just opening for the fun, opening to play some limited, opening to get some cards in your hand and try some stuff out. There's no real crazy chase here. Yes, there's valuable cards that you can get out of the Play Booster box, but it's not the same as the seeming golden tickets that are present in the Collector Booster box. So I really do think that we're seeing some normal activity for the Play Booster box, and I don't think this is a product of release outside of the fact that the product is just in our hands now, which is a good thing, and this is what Magic sets do coming to release. They come down in price when we finally have boxes available to go crack. But the Collector Booster box is a different story. This was thought to be wildly unavailable, and with the price sitting at around $600, $620 as of the recording of this video, as you see right here, we have noticed a definite trend here down from the near highs of $1,000. This is where I believe we can have the conversation about the cards, the chase, and the box opening experience, and how rare some of these crazy rare cards are is coming into effect. This, in my opinion, is a couple things going on. This is the result of a couple things going on. First and foremost, I think the box is a little less rare than we thought. We had this conversation on the release of Spider-Man about there was no way that anyone's going to get these boxes. We got none of them. No store is going to have any. And yes, while they still might be rare, there's probably not enough of them printed. I mean, heck, a $600 collector box on release when MSRP is, or not MSRP, when stores pay, a small fraction of that. Don't exactly quote me on that, but there's still room for profit if it comes off of $600. It's a wild situation that I think we need to see some more healthy growth on. I did a whole video that I'll link above if I remember. If not, you can let me know in the comment section below, where I talked about the fact that I want to see more stable over time growth of these products and less come out, shoot to the moon, and just speculate and hope for the best. I think that shows genuine interest, genuine nostalgic ties, and genuine demand, where this is no Magic the Gathering demand is truly totally fabricated. It is the most popular, most played trading card game in the known universe. However, there can be an element of fabricated demand when it's like, oh, this could just be $1,000 next week, but maybe it's $2,000 next week, maybe it's $3,000. Stuff like that can drive this hype. But it is good to see this becoming technically more accessible. I know it's not as accessible as I'd like it to be, but I think this is a good box despite what's going on. And I think we're going to see an element of the first Lord of the Rings set here, where the box comes down in price and eventually trickles back up after the initial hype cycle. Now, there's no one of one. It's not going to do the craziness that Lord of the Rings did so quickly and right away. And if I recall, Lord of the Rings, the first one, collector booster box, was cheaper for stores than this was, but still, I think we see an element of that. And the reason is that some of these spectacular Spider-Man variants that we're going to talk about here are crazy. Now, I've pulled up the base one, but there are etched alternate art costume versions of this card, and those cards are going for a pretty penny on the secondary market. If we just take a look at the highest and most expensive cards out here, we will see that some of these things are going for, they're listed for thousands of dollars. They have total sold of 2 with sale prices of $1,200. These are essentially lottery tickets for this set. This is an opportunity to pull something that's worth, whether you agree with it or not, a ton of money on the secondary market, at least right now. And if this holds, if this is able to maintain a fairly stable price point, then this box, in my opinion, will go up. It's tough to have a box that you can pull this many variations of $1,000 plus card out of, not to mention the crazy foil Soulstone, and yes, obviously the etched foil one-of-one ring style, but not serialized Soulstone. This is, maybe an argument where this box should be more expensive, but as we see release, as we see prices do on release, that we see with everything, these are coming down. I'm not sitting here staring into a camera. And don't get in my comment section and yell at me about this. I'm not saying that these are the prices of these cards long term. It's always going to be these prices. I'm not claiming that at all. I'm saying right now, people are buying that for that price, and if it stays relatively close, it could be a reason to roll the dice for people and crack packs. Now, again, that's not financial advice. Don't do that. You're never going to make your money back on these box openings. You've seen countless videos at this point on YouTube where people buy $600, $700, $800 boxes and they get $120 worth of value. That happens. Don't go chasing the value. Do it for fun. Open a box you like, and if you happen to hit something, good for you. But I think there are other singles that tell also a different story about the price of this box, and I want to spend the time to talk about the comic book art style singles. These cards were a big pull for me, and generally when something is a big pull for old school nostalgic Magic fan who played Magic for the better part of 2 decades and been around the space for a while, I think there's probably someone else there that likes it too. Maybe not a ton, but a couple. And these for a while were commanding a much higher price point and are behaving much more like cards that we expect during release time. They are coming down a good amount to a much more normalized price of the card here, as we see sales coming down off the 200s to listings, into the 180s and probably down from there. And this does a couple things for me. First and foremost, it gives me a bit of hope. I wanted to collect a set of these cards. I like them. It is tough for me as a fan of Magic that's been around for so long to spend this much money on new Magic cards. It's tough for me. I always say I could buy a dual land. I could be putting it in a bank account to go towards a piece of power. I could be buying beta cards or something like that. I think that way, and it's hard for me to spend this amount of money on brand new Magic cards. So this coming down is helpful, but also I think it's contributing to the fact that there are less hits that really and truly help you pay for the price of this box. Now, these hits are still rare according to box openings that we watch online, according to no actual data, just kind of getting the vibes and checking things out. But the fewer hits that really eat into the price of that box, the fewer people that are going to be interested in opening that box. I will always say that box value of old Magic sealed values do not directly represent the EV of the cards inside. There's no direct correlation there, but it is much closer, in my opinion, the closer you are to release. So the closer you are to the release of the product, the EV of that product matters more to its value. The farther you get from that release, the more nostalgia takes over, the vintage aspects takes over, the opening experience of something that isn't around as much takes over, and maybe boosts that value a bit. All in all, I will say, I'm excited about Spider-Man. I think they're doing some really cool things. I really like that these boxes are coming, or these comic book cards are coming down in price. Let me know in the comment section below if you've stuck around this long, if you think I really should collect a set. And for those who have watched some of my Magic the Gathering collecting videos, one of my problems is, I collect playsets. And I know Commander playsets are one card, I get it, but I play 60 card Magic. I like four ofs in binders. I think they look awesome. In fact, almost all my binders are organized in a series of 4 ofs. So let me know if you think I should go after these in the comment section below. When should I go after them? And then anything else you want to let me know about this video, about Spider-Man, about your experience, maybe your pre-release, I'm open to hear it. Thanks so much for hanging out. I will link another video that I think you will like over here. And until next time, you all know me. My name is Josh, and we'll see you around. All right, goodbye.